Welcome to The Binger. Whether you're a Disney princess fanatic or a lukewarm observer, everyone knows these characters. Just a quick glimpse of one of them is enough for a light bulb of recognition to go off for most of us. Given their place in popular culture and Disney history, it's no surprise that the princesses often show up in other movies. That's especially true when the filmmakers of other Disney movies want to pay homage to the studio's past. Sometimes the princesses' appearances are only obvious to eagle-eyed viewers. Meanwhile, other times they make attention-grabbing cameos. No matter what though, their presence is always welcome. In this video, we're pointing out several times the Disney princesses have been spotted in other films. Tangled never received a sequel, but that doesn't mean we haven't been able to catch up with Rapunzel and Flynn either, at least a little. The couple make an appearance in Frozen. If you look carefully during the scene where guests arrive for Elsa's coronation, you'll see Anna greeting the duo. Rapunzel is still sporting the short brown hair she had at the end of her movie. Apparently, she's sticking with the new style that freed her from Mother Gothel instead of growing out her hair like she did most of her life. Seeing that Rapunzel and Flynn decided to travel all the way to Arendelle to attend the coronation has led to all sorts of fan speculation. After all, Rapunzel, Anna, and Elsa are all Disney royalty, so it makes sense that they just might be related. In fact, one fan theory has it that when Anna and Elsa's parents were shipwrecked in Frozen, they were heading to Rapunzel and Flynn's wedding. Food for thought. It turns out that Anna and Elsa have shown up in movies other than their own, too. One of those movies is 2016's Zootopia. Of course, the movie depicts a world made up entirely of animals. That means humans don't exist, but it doesn't mean the Zootopians live in a world without a version of Frozen. And we get to see exactly what that version is when we're shown a table of bootleg DVDs that include Zootopia's versions of Disney films. Instead of Tangled, there's Wrangled, in which Rapunzel is a horse with a long blonde mane. Instead of Moana, there's Meowana, which imagines Moana as a seafaring cat. And instead of Frozen 2, there's Floatsin' 2. That's right, well before the sequel to Anna and Elsa's story was out in our world, it had already hit theaters in Zootopia. And apparently the movie was pretty popular if the film's other reference to Anna and Elsa is any indication. In a scene depicting an outdoor ice rink, a pair of young elephants can be seen skating with their mother. Look closely and you'll notice the young elephant sisters are dressed as Anna and Elsa. The taller and supposedly older one is dressed as Elsa, while the shorter and younger one is dressed as Anna. How cute is that? If that weren't enough Frozen and Zootopia for you, Kristen Belle, the voice of Anna, was also the voice behind Priscilla the Sloth in the film. Belle is a noted sloth lover, so it's no surprise she would jump at the chance to bring one to vocal life. Most of us love the story of Mulan, and it turns out Nani from Lilo and Stitch is a fan too. Mulan is one of the most empowered princesses in the Disney canon. Not only does she take her father's place in the army, she more than holds her own against the Huns. Maybe that's why Nani has chosen a poster of her to decorate her room. After all, Lilo's older sister has an awful lot on her plate. Not only does she have to support and take care of her quirky little sister, she has to put up with Stitch's destructive tendencies. The world of Who Framed Roger Rabbit brought together animated characters of all kinds. From Bugs Bunny to Mickey Mouse, all our cartoon favorites were represented. And no movie about animated characters would be complete if it didn't feature at least one Disney princess. Who Framed Roger Rabbit decided to include the first Disney princess to ever grace the big screen in a feature-length film. In a scene towards the end of the movie, after the villain has been vanquished, a group of animated characters looks on. Standing among them is Snow White. She looks shocked at what she just witnessed and concerned about whether or not the bad guy is really gone for good. A Goofy movie is a funny but lesser-known Disney flick from 1995 that focuses on the relationship between their classic character Goofy and his son Max. One of the fun things about this film is its multiple references to The Little Mermaid's Ariel. The mermaid had burst onto the pop culture scene only 6 years earlier, and apparently she was very much on the minds of a Goofy movie's animators. Ariel is first seen in the background on stage as a cardboard cutout. Later, when Goofy and Max stop at the Neptune Inn for the night during their road trip, their room includes a nightlight shaped like Ariel. It's just one of the many sea-themed decorations in the hotel, but Max seems particularly fascinated with the illuminated mermaid. Sometimes Disney decides to nod to a princess that happens to live in the same area as the setting their movie takes place in. This was the case with The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That movie takes place in France and features a cameo by a famous French princess, Belle from Beauty and the Beast. During the song Out There, Quasimodo wonders what's beyond his lonely bell tower in the famous cathedral. One of the things that happens to be out there is Belle. She's far below the tower and difficult to see, but she's definitely there. And she's engaged in a familiar activity. Just as she was at the very beginning of Beauty and the Beast, she's reading a book as she winds her way through the streets. She's also wearing her familiar blue dress. Even in the middle of Paris, Belle has her nose stuck in a book. The movie Enchanted sends up all sorts of Disney princess tropes, from having birds and mice make your clothes to singing about everything. And to pay homage to its inspiration, there are two princesses from Disney movies past that are heard in the movie. First, Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel, the Little Mermaid herself, plays Sam, Robert's secretary. And if you didn't realize who she was, she even keeps a large fish tank in the reception area of the office to drive home the point. Also, when Prince Edward knocks on an apartment door, it's opened by a woman with multiple children. That woman is Judy Kuhn, the singing voice of Pocahontas in her self-titled film. Another movie that pays homage to previous Disney princesses but never shows them in the animated flesh is Tangled. In the movie, Rapunzel has spent years trapped in a tower that she can't escape from, so she's amassed quite a collection of activities and knickknacks to keep herself occupied and entertained. And many of those knickknacks are direct references to other princesses. In fact, Rapunzel's tower offers a treasure trove of Disney princess Easter eggs. Around the tower can be seen an apple for Snow White, a rose for Beauty and the Beast's Belle, and a seashell for the Little Mermaid's Ariel. But perhaps the most interesting Disney princess reference is also the most practical. It's the spinning wheel from Sleeping Beauty. While Rapunzel may be using the wheel to keep herself busy, at one point the object was used to put a curse on one of her royal sisters. The second direct-to-video sequel to Aladdin, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, also makes reference to more than one Disney princess. The movie is known for the triumphant return of Robin Williams as the voice of Genie, and Williams used the opportunity to make pop culture references galore throughout the film. Several of those blink-and-you'll-miss-them references included Disney princesses. During a scene where Genie cheers up Jasmine by trying to distract her with wedding planning, he dresses her up as Cinderella and Snow White. None of the looks really speak to her, but as the self-aware Genie notes, hey, it's synergy. And in a rapid-fire joke in another scene, Genie briefly makes himself over as Pocahontas while jumping out of a plane. We already talked about Lilo and Stitch's nod to Mulan. However, when it comes to the movie's marketing push, there were even more prominent Disney princess references. A series of ads feature the little blue alien Stitch crashing other Disney animated movies and leaving a mess in his wake. The movies he breaks into are The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. These were the four most popular Disney movies in recent memory when Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002. In fact, they're largely credited with reviving Disney animation. Stitch doesn't care about all that though. In the ad featuring Beauty and the Beast, he brings down the chandelier in the library where the couple are having their first dance. As Belle stalks away in annoyance, it's hard not to wonder if Stitch just ruined their love story. Then in another love story ruining clip, he steals Jasmine away from Aladdin during their A Whole New World magic carpet ride. Aladdin may be able to show Jasmine the world, but Stitch can take her to outer space. Who can compete with that? Stitch also interrupts Ariel while she's singing by surfing a wave right on top of her. Geez, Stitch! The marketing was a fun way to show just how different Stitch was from the polished princesses Disney's known for. Last but definitely not least is the Wreck-It Ralph sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet, which brought together all the princesses in one scene. It also brought together most of the original voice talent behind the animated characters. Featuring everyone from Snow White to Moana, this princess cameo nearly stole the movie. Audiences loved it so much it even got its own line of dolls. When Vanellope accidentally stumbles into the princess's lounge, she quickly learns that these women are no shrinking violets. They're all ready to take on the the intruder in their midst. Even Cinderella breaks her glass slipper so she can use it as a weapon. Then Vanellope informs them that she's a princess too, and they test her by asking her all about her background, which could include any or all of the terrible things that happened to them. It's a hilarious moment where Disney admits that in many cases, its princesses suffered through so many ridiculous scenarios. Vanellope then teaches the group the joys of getting out of those uncomfortable gowns and putting on comfortable clothes for once. It's a Disney princess team-up for the ages that was a fun addition to the movie for fans of all ages. Which of these Disney princess appearances did you enjoy the most? Was there one that especially surprised you? Fill us in below in the comments. And before you take off, don't forget to like and subscribe to The Binger. And thanks for watching.